and people have been out. So, I mean, it's not like people are being reckless. There hasn't been any protests. Virginia Beach is a very spread out place anyways. Like, if you go for a walk around the block, you're not going to be 6 feet away from anybody, except for maybe when you pass by them on the sidewalk, you know? Like, it's spacious, is what I'm trying to say. And so, you know, I just think that there hasn't been as much concern here just because people are like, well, I won't, why would I be within 6 feet of somebody, you know, just to go to the grocery store, I'll stand in a little farther away, I guess. I don't know. People are wearing masks. There's buffers, you know, that's the biggest differences. But anyways, oh, fuck, I completely lost my train of thought thinking about the fucking coronavirus. So how do we account for the idea that there are people who provide value that you do not trade money, you're trading something other than money, and these people can provide that? How do we just allow them to live? And for a lot of people, the answer is communism. They think, okay, well, if we had it so all means of production are controlled by the government, which means that essentially anybody doing any kind of essential work is working for the government, then and everybody in the country, regardless of whether they work for the government or not, makes an equal wage, and, you know, just has equal buying power, and equal amount of distribution of, like, resources or whatever, then, you know, because of the fact that your livelihood is automatic, then if you are not doing an essential job, you are free to do other things. But the question is, how do you prove the value of those other things that you do to the people who are running the machine? Because ultimately, a certain number of people have to run the machine in order for it to run, until the day that automation takes all these jobs away, which is coming sooner than later. And we'll talk about that soon. But the fundamental question behind the difficulty that people who don't agree with communism have in wrapping their head around it is they ask themselves, who would work in the factories? Nobody wants to work those jobs. Like, there are people who sincerely want to be farmers, who sincerely want to, like, you know, work off the land and provide for people, provide for communities. But in a large enough country under communism, like America, which is fucking massive, you would need a lot of people doing those jobs. And currently, people take up those jobs out of necessity. And perhaps enough people would take those jobs out of necessity, but then there is no necessity under communism. You know, like there's no driving force to convince you to go do the menial job unless you are passionate about it. And if you need, let's say, 50% of the population to do the menial jobs and only 30% of the population is passionate about doing it, then how are you going to convince another 20% to go and do those jobs when they could do whatever they want? And so there has to be some kind of system by which society judges the value of a person in order for communism to work. You have to say, like, okay, well, you have to do a job somewhere in this range, like some amount of your time has to be dedicated to doing this specific thing in order for you to have the rest of your time free. Now, maybe that's a fair ask. It really depends on how much time we're asking here. Like, are we talking about 2 hours of community service a day, or are we talking about 8 hours of community service a day? Because you have to run the calculations to answer that. And nobody ever runs these calculations when they're making these arguments. So until I hear that, it's going to be really hard for me to come down on which side I agree with. But theoretically, in my mind, it seems like a lot of work is essential to run the world, and like most people would have to work for the government. How do I prove that what I want to do is worthwhile to society? Who determines it? Who's going to be the judge? Everybody? So is it a popularity contest? Be popular or die? Is that what this is going to come down to? Because that's already the world we live in. But to me, it comes down not to equality of distribution, but just simply to provide baseline. That's why I'm such a big fan of universal basic income, because it's just literally saying, like, this is the minimum amount that we can give you where we know you can have a, like, pursuit of happiness, you know, essentially. Like, you will have enough money that if you, you know, manage your life correctly. Now, granted, if we start up UBI tomorrow, not everybody is going to, you know, it's not going to be enough for everybody, because a lot of people are in much worse situations. Like, ultimately, its ability to work would come more in the long term as people are able to amass wealth, as people have that cushion to keep, you know, reducing the overhead of whatever is on top of them, whether it be debt or, you know, whatever else is troubling them. You know, reducing that overhead gradually over time until they can potentially enter a period of normality might not be possible for everybody. But for people who are emerging into that system with a clean slate, those people will, from the ground running, like from the ground up, always have a life provided for them, as long as their parents didn't, like, fuck them up. And, well, I mean, if you're 18 when you start receiving it, you can't even accrue credit card debt yet. So you should not have any debt before you're 18. So yeah, essentially, you're starting fresh, hopefully. Again, some people are going to fall through the cracks in any system. They already fall through the cracks massively in our current one. So I think this is a better one, is what I'm trying to say. I think that, you know, and I'm not saying, like, Yang was proposing, like, what, $1,000 a month? Probably not enough. I would say that again, we're trying to give people the opportunity to pursue value. And yes, there will be people who just live off of this money and do not contribute anything to society. But, like, in this society, those people would be so ruthlessly shamed because there's no excuse. You literally have the means to live. Like, the UBI would have to always, you know, it would always have to rise to meet whatever is the amount necessary to live. It would have to be that is just the way that this country operates for a long enough time for it to stabilize, you know, that we build some kind of different type of economy on the basis of values beyond monetary, you know. Monetary values still will exist, obviously, and will still be a purchasing power, but, like, you don't have to go work for Amazon. You don't have to. You don't have to go work for anybody if you make enough to live. You choose who you want to work for, you choose what you want to do with yourself, and you know, determine your own future. So, this is the only answer to getting out of the COVID pandemic. And the fucking $1,200 Trump gave is not even remotely close to being that. Because that's just an advance on your fucking tax return from next year, which means that money that you have to buffer you now is just going to not be there to buffer you next year. And also, I don't even get any of that money because I haven't filed my taxes for that year yet. So, you know, this Trump buck situation is not UBI. We need actual universal basic income to make it through the pandemic, because of the fact that this is another, again, we're talking about people being on two sides of an issue that they're barely apart. And I feel two ways about the coronavirus lockdown. Because on the one hand, obviously, being on lockdown will provide, well, fewer people will die of the coronavirus. Fewer people will die, period, because the least people have ever died in the history of civilization or something like that in the last month. Some weird fucking stat like that. The least percentage of people, I think. So yeah, like, death rates will be at a minimum. So we'll be preserving more life during this time. There's a better chance of, you know, us getting a vaccine done in time for, you know, fewer people to die. But, like, the reality of the fucking coronavirus is that this could be a yearly thing. This could be an evolving virus. It could be that we're going to have to, like, lock down every fucking year if we wanted to prevent this thing. We might need new vaccines. First of all, you can carry it without displaying any symptoms. Theoretically, everybody is going to get it. Like, that was one of the projections, was that, like, you know, without the lockdown, everybody would definitely get it. It just wouldn't kill most people. But, like, if we were to open up at any point, everybody's going to get it. And if it keeps coming back year after year, are we really going to lock down every year? Like, because people are talking about it like, oh, how can you be so heartless about, like, saying, oh, it's ruining the economy? It's not the economy. People don't have work. People can't work. They don't have money. The only people who have money are people who filed their taxes last year and you know, the government owed them $1,200 that they gave them early, you know, instead of next time. Like, it's you can't live off of that. Like, when people start running out of money, what the fuck is going to happen? Like, if you tell people you can't leave your house and they say there's no food in my house, and you say, well, the grocery store's open, and they say I have no money, then, like, what are they going to do? Do they starve in their house? Are we going to just, I mean, I guess maybe we could have a, you know, just some kind of soup delivery for the poor service. Just give them fucking money. Just give everybody $2,000 every month for the rest of fucking time, and just rebuild the economy around it. That's all you gotta fucking do. So that's my take on the coronavirus. You know, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get anybody sick. I don't want to be out and about in the midst of a pandemic. I am somebody who does my job on the internet anyway, so everybody being inside is actually kind of a benefit to me. It means there are more people indoors watching YouTube, assumably. A lot of people have no money, so I can't really make money from people who aren't making money. You know, people who are, you know, making their money through ad revenue are probably in a much better ship than I am as a Patreon guy, unless I make some real ad revenue generating videos, which, I mean, that I wouldn't even make enough, even if I did that, to justify that leap. But, you know, it's just like, overall, for me, it's easy enough to stay inside that I don't mind staying inside for 6 months or whatever for a pandemic. It just sucks to, like, you know, lose the summer, whatever. People's lives are at stake. But when people run out of money and food, they're not going to stay inside. They're going to go outside and find money and food. And I just don't see any way to prevent them from doing that other than just giving them money and food. And I assume that's just what's going to happen if we decide to keep this lockdown going, because it's the only fucking way. People think that this is going to end in, like, June. It's not. If you want to prevent the spread of the virus, it's going to last a lot fucking longer, and it will probably have to happen every so often, you know, depending on how this thing evolves. I think way more people have it and have transmitted it than anybody thinks, because of the fact that you can literally carry it with no symptoms for, like, a while. So, you know, I think way more people have had coronavirus than the statistics would have you believe. Because it seems like people with strong enough immune systems, it just feels like they have a flu for a day and a half and then they're fucking fine. So, you know, yeah, it's a way worse pandemic than people are giving it credit for. It's way worse than the numbers are going to show. China has been lying about their numbers since, like, January, so their numbers are completely fucking skewed. They're only now finally, like, padding them back in because America pulled support for the WHO, which was entirely fucking under China's control. If you're not fucking following China Uncensored, man, then you just don't know what's going on with China, man. It's fucking crazy, man. Anyway, Bill Gates did COVID. I'll talk about that on the next one. Dervish done.
Crystal son súper atléticos, súper listos y súper motivados. Pero hay algo que no son. No son Wondercoats. A la magia hay que vencer una y otra vez. Ninguna escuela tiene ese historial. Nosotros somos Canterlot. Vamos a ganar. Estos juegos nuestros van a ser. Vamos a ser Wondercoats por siempre. Nuestro momento va a comenzar. Pues la amistad nos hará poderosos. Saben bien que al final no podrán derrotarnos jamás. ¡Cambio! Y hoy más fuerte es. No nos pudieron derrotar ayer. Un Canterlot unido jamás no vencerán. Prepárense porque nos verán triunfar. Vamos a ser Wondercoats por siempre. Nuestro momento va a comenzar. Pues la amistad nos hará poderosos. Saben bien que al final no podrán derrotarnos jamás. Al final no podrán derrotarnos jamás. Na, 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 na. Wondercoats unidos se sienten. Na, 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 na. Wondercoats amigos. Vamos a ser Wondercoats por siempre. Wondercoats unidos. Nuestro momento va a comenzar. Wondercoats amigos. Pues la amistad nos hará poderosos. Wondercoats unidos. Saben bien que al final no podrán derrotarnos jamás. Al final no podrán derrotarnos jamás.
Al principio yo dudaba más. Creí que todo conocía, no sabía qué esperar. Y al ver la realidad, vi la verdad. Pero algo me faltaba. Sé que lo ibas a notar. Aquí es donde está la magia. Pues la magia vive aquí. Nuestra amistad hoy es más fuerte. El vínculo va a durar por siempre. Y el hechizo que aprenderás es la magia de la amistad.
Cuánto tiempo pase, no importará. La fiesta seguirá y nuevos juegos jugarás. Muchas aventuras, obvio, habrá. Si permanecemos juntas, será siempre más genial.
Aquí es donde está la magia. Pues la magia vive aquí. Nuestra amistad hoy es más fuerte. El vínculo va a durar por siempre. Y el hechizo que aprenderás es la magia de la amistad. Y es algo raro que hay que heredar a los que vienen ya detrás. Nunca dejaremos de creer en la generosidad de amigos que hay
Y por el amor que hay en mí. Por las criaturas de este mundo. Son seres vivos y la amistad me hace tan feliz.
Yo solía preguntarme cómo es la amistad.
Aquí es donde está la magia, pues la magia vive aquí. Nuestra amistad hoy
Half in the bag.
Mike, why aren't you on your phone? You should be calling and texting people. Don't you realize it's the last day before the government shuts off the cell phone towers?
I know. They found out that the 5G network really is spreading coronavirus. Who the fuck cares? Fuck my cell phone. Everyone I know is dead anyway. Fuck!
Well, even still, today is a day of mourning. It's been exactly 1 month since China sent 500 naval ships filled with hundreds of thousands of people infected with the coronavirus to the beaches of California. They flooded the state, just fucking coughing on everyone. And now almost everyone in California is dead, and the virus is slowly making its way east.
Yeah, and yet still Disney is altering their movies to appeal to the Chinese market.
But think of all the celebrities we've lost. Who will be the guiding light to our wayward souls during these troubling times?
Come on, road and go. Let's go eat some fried fish.
Who will entertain us with their hilarious and uplifting videos filmed from inside their gigantic mansions?
Or doing a live stream where they talk about themselves, to raise money for bird sanctuary charities. The complete lack of worry on their smiling faces as they know deep in their hearts that they have enough money to never have to work again and to never leave their house if they don't need to. And it doesn't make me despise them at all.
Yeah, the truly tragic part is that without maids and groundskeepers, they'll have to clean their own homes. I get kind of choked up when I think about Bette Midler having to push a vacuum around her 40,000 square foot house. Hey, what are you watching?
Oh, I'm watching that new Invisible Man film in 4K, no less.
Mike, I don't think that...
Jay, just let me have this. Get the little wavy lines. Wait. And my favorite scene. It's a scene when the Invisible Man is invisible. He's walking around doing stuff. He's up to no good, that Invisible Man.
Oh, just lost signal. No more cell phone service. This is just a paperweight now.
My phone's ringing. Hello? Mom and Dad? Oh boy, it sure is great to hear from you, especially after all those years ago when you told me that you no longer had a son. What's that? You're proud of me? I'm not an embarrassing failure? Ah, it's so good to have closure on this matter after all these years. Well, you two stay safe. Okay, bye. I'm getting a signal. Maybe you shouldn't have used Sprint.
Mike, I'm not getting any service. I really don't... never mind. Hey, since you're watching The Invisible Man, why don't we talk about that and some of the other things we've been watching while we're stuck in Mr. Plinkett's house?
What a great conclusion to this wacky setup. Stand your side of the fence. This chicken wire is medical grade. Nothing can pass through it. Not even droplets from coronavirus. What should I have to drink?
I'm gonna drink another zombie dove. Remember before the quarantine when we didn't start drinking till after 3 p.m.?
Well, it's what, 7 a.m. now?
Yeah.
So is that really late from the night before or really early? Oh, fuck.
What are you doing over there? I can't see you through this fence.
You know what Robert Frost said? Fences make good neighbors. And fences keep out coronavirus! Well, the 5G network may be down, but streaming television isn't. All those servers running 24/7, we're polluting the air with so much carbon. It's like we're flying 20,000 jets every person every second.
Look, we're all stuck inside. What are we supposed to do? Read a book? Go for a walk? Foster animals? Donate to a charity? I want to watch Tiger King, damn it.
Well, you brought it up. You want to talk about Tiger King.
Everyone's talking about Tiger King. Tiger King.
It's not every day that a zookeeper went to prison for murder for hire.
There are more captive tigers in the U.S. than there are in the wild throughout the world.
You go ahead. I watched 3 episodes and I had to stop.
Oh, you got that far into it. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you said you watched a little bit of it. I assumed you watched the first episode and were like, fuck this. I'm
No.
not dealing with these people.
I was slightly interested, and then, yeah, it made me want to take a shower. It's really when they got into the one guy who was like a polygamist.
Yes.
And then,
yes. Yeah, the reaction to it has been weird because people are like making memes and like Joe Exotic he's this kooky guy, and it's like, no, he's a scumbag. All these people are horrible. It's a really dark, gross show, but people are reacting to it like it's this kooky thing, which is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Exotic, I think it was a fascinating story, but Joe Exotic is like, he's a scumbag. I mean, he's abusing these animals. He's grooming young men, young straight men, and like filling them with drugs. So you got him, you got Carol Baskin, who's complaining about Joe Exotic keeping these animals in tiny cages while she herself does the exact same thing.
She's also questionable.
And she's very questionable. She may have fed her first husband to a tiger. And then you get to the polygamous guy who's grooming young girls and has this fucking cult. It's the perfect companion piece to Roar and Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
In that it really pinpoints that these fucking people that have this weird romanticized idea of these wild animals as being this magical thing and using them for their own sort of like narcissistic reasons, they're all fucking crazy.
Well, they all seem to be like control freaks too.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you can control tigers, then you can control people. And I'm sure some kind of psychotherapist could really break these people down. But there is something there because, like, I never wanted to own a tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never wanted to own an exotic animal because.
Or you think about the Grizzly Man guy where he like keeps going back to that nature preserve and thinks he has some sort of magical bond with the animals. And it's like, no, they're wild animals. They're gonna eat you, and then they do.
Yeah, it's a way to like the one guy, the polygamist guy. It seems more of a way to lure and control people, and and on top of that, he's like a cultish pervert. So the allure of tigers and that lifestyle of his encampment was attractive to that one. I saw the part where they interviewed one lady who escaped the cult. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I was like 17 or 18, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go work with these tigers, and then he said, oh yeah, honey, take off your clothes. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I read some kind of spoiler somewhere that said this was not included in the documentary, but after, I guess Joe Exotic goes to prison. I didn't get that far.
He does, yeah.
But they show it in the show. He's calling from prison.
Yeah.
So I assume he went to prison. I don't know what for exactly, possibly trying to murder Carol Baskin.
Yes, for hiring someone to murder Carol Baskin.
But they're like, the show went up in his attic, and they found a bunch of weird S&M stuff, and then they found stuffed tigers, not stuffed animal tigers, but like taxidermied tigers with like a fuck hole in the mouth and in the butt.
Oh.
So him and his husbands presumably were doing some kinky stuff, or he was in his private time sexualizing dead tigers, and I was like, I'm out.
Come here, love me. Come here, love me.
I'm gonna go watch Cheers.
Cheers is in HD now, by the way, on Netflix. They remastered it all. It looks gorgeous.
Fuck yeah.
The last time I binge watched that show, it was still like it looked like VHS masters. Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Tiger King. I thought it was a fascinating story.
Drinking away all your worries. Hey, let's do a shot.
Hey, there you go.
Wouldn't you like to get shit-faced? Sometimes you eyes competition. That's how the song ends. And you're always glad you're social distancing. Cheers is now closed.
Sorry, we're closed.
Yeah, so that's Tiger King. I think it's very well done. It's just interesting to see what people have gotten out of it and how people find it funny when it's just incredibly upsetting. But I think it's worth watching. But if you think it's too disgusting or having to watch these horrible people, I can understand.
It's up to the individual viewer.
Sure.
Because you have trash television that's fascinating and kind of fun to watch. 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, which is just fucking wonderful. Or My 600-Pound Life, or there's all sorts of great programs on TLC.
My 600-Pound Tumor.
My 600-Pound Tumor. Dr. Pimple Popper, the lady that
God.
pulls shit out of people's bodies.
See, that I can never, ever watch.
Yeah, it's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, there's those shows that, like, the reality shows that are, like, of sketchy people, your Honey Boo Boos and Duck Dynasties and all that shit. And I don't like that stuff.
Yeah.
But the characters in it, while odd and eccentric and oftentimes kind of gross, there's always a little bit of heart or likability. And this Tiger King show,
Oh, everybody's awful.
it just seems like it's awful.
Yeah.
And
You didn't even get to the guy that supposedly Scarface was based on?
oh, I did see that episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The guy's talking. He's like the most likable guy in the movie, and he's a murderer.
What am I going to tell the feds now, or the judge? Your Honor, I did not shoot him, and I did not use the circular saw in his neck. It was somebody else. What difference does it make? I'm still there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Tiger King.
I'm just picturing the filmmakers, though. They start filming this documentary series and realizing how absurd every character is and being like, we just struck gold.
Let's talk about movies, though. That's why we're here, Jay.
Okay.
That's our show, Half in the Bag.
They used to be before the dark times.
Before the dark times, before the coronavirus. BC, right? BC.
Hey, there you go.
We're up before coronavirus.
Yeah.
And AD,
After death.
after death. AV, after vaccine.
Oh, there you go.
So, Jay, let's talk about a movie that we both saw. One of the very last films to come out in movie theaters.
What were those things called?
They called them movie palaces way back in the day. I think,
Movie houses.
yeah, in the 21st century, they were called theaters.
Now they're called abandoned strip malls.
Yeah, now they're abandoned. They're mega churches now. But now they're all closed and they're never going to reopen
No.
because the world has woken up to the fact that you can watch movies in your home. And the studio system has woken up to that fact. The world
Yes.
is forever changed
Yeah.
after coronavirus. But we both watched The Invisible Man.
Yes.
That played in the theaters for half the coronavirus epidemic.
Played long
pandemic.
enough to make some decent money.
And then they said, early release on VOD.
Yeah, well, that's something we should talk about before talking about the movie. Is
Yeah.
the whole release strategy, because it's very, people are very divided. It's exclusive early access or whatever they were calling it, but it's $20 to rent for 24 hours, 48 hours. And people are like, oh, that's too expensive. Other people are like, that's fucking great. I got a house full of 5, 6 people.
Yeah.
It's only one price. So I think it just depends on your outlook. I am more than happy to spend $20 to not go to a movie theater.
Yeah.
The opportunity to watch something at home. But it also depends on your setup, I guess.
Yeah, and the $20 I think is the perfect median price. Because, like you said, there could be somebody who lives by themselves, or there could be somebody with a household of 10 people. You know, when $50 is a little too much, 10 is a little too low, because someone's going to take advantage of it and have 10 people over at their house. So, $20.
I think $20 is perfect. It was this and The Hunt, the other Blumhouse movie.
The only way to really calculate this is to have, like, a big tentpole movie, like the Wonder Woman movie that was supposed to come out.
Or Black Widow,
Black
one of
Widow,
those type of movies, yeah.
Something like that. That's a big, like Marvel or Disney kind of thing. And just say, okay, here it is. Boom. Because they have projections of based on past movies, you know, like when Wonder Woman 1984 comes out, it's expected to make this much.
Yeah.
And they base it on past models and all this analytics and data and stuff. And
Now everything's out the window.
Now, yeah, so it would be like a situation where they would have to like dip their toe in the water, so to speak, put Wonder Woman out on streaming on every possible platform around the whole world all at once, and see how much money they make.
Yeah.
And if they make, you know, half of what they would in the theaters, then they would definitely pull back and say, we're going to wait till movie theaters reopen. If they made more money, then they would side with theaters and say, we want the audience to have a theater-going experience.
So you mean they'd lie? They wouldn't say, we want whatever will make us the most money.
They would. I'm being sarcastic there.
Yeah.
They would say, fuck you, movie theaters.
Well, the first movie that was supposed to go in theaters and went directly to VOD is the Trolls movie.
Yeah. How'd that do?
I don't know. That's the thing, is they don't have to
Yeah.
give these numbers out, so nobody knows. So it's also a way to avoid people knowing that a movie is a flop in future releases.
It's kind of like trying to find out how many people actually watch Star Trek Picard on CBS All Access.
There you go, yeah. It's a big hit, Mike. It was announced for a second season before the first season even aired. That definitely wasn't announced just to get people thinking that the show was going to be worth watching.
Yep. But yeah, they don't have to announce their money. They could just, you'll know if it made them money if more movies appear on VOD. That's the only real way to test it.
And that's why this has been so interesting, because we've been talking about the death of theaters forever. I would gladly stay at home and watch movies, as opposed, there's stuff I'd watch at home that I wouldn't bother to see in theaters. But I'll pay $20 to, just watch it at home.
Then there are some movies that are nice to see in a big movie theater.
Less and less.
It's
more so the theater-going experience than the movies themselves.
Yeah.
I think when we did Avengers Endgame, I may be wrong, but I think we called that like the last blockbuster. Little did we know that it would be forced to be the last blockbuster.
I mean, you can't really call Rise of Skywalker a true blockbuster.
Oh no, that was a funeral.
It did well. It did well. Like, it made money, of course, as it would, but it wasn't a phenomenon.
Nobody liked it. Yeah.
The future is unwritten, Jay. Only time will tell.
The only certainty we have is that Quibi will flop.
Quibi.
It's an improvement, darling. What happened to him? It needs to be about 20%
Yeah, Invisible
cooler.
Man was really enjoyable. It was a nice take on the Invisible Man character.
Should we be worried about spoilers?
Oh,
Spoilers, whatever. It's been out.
it's been out a long time.
I saw some people complaining about the way he becomes the Invisible Man in this. How it's like a suit, like a scientific suit. It's like they're saying that's like silly. It's like, does it matter? The original story, he drinks like a magic potion.
Well, okay, that's silly how the Invisible Man becomes the Invisible Man, because this movie is not about an invisible man. Well, real quick, the whole movie's about being in an abusive relationship.
And gaslighting.
Yes, definitely, and that's what the whole movie is about. It's not about the Invisible Man. It's a very metaphorical movie about relationships, specifically abusive relationships, like you said, gaslighting, And the opening of the film is Elizabeth Moss is trying to escape the relationship.
Yeah, it just goes right into it.
It starts off, yeah, and you know, she's sleeping in her bed, and his hand is over her, you know, just a symbol of him being controlling. She knocks him out with some Valium, and she's planned her escape from his massive compound-like house, where in the basement he does some kind of scientific experiments, and all we see is just some stations and some things.
We get all the information we need in this opening scene without like any. I think I'm quoting the Phantom Menace review, but without a line of dialogue.
Right. It's show, don't tell, as they say.
I'm picturing a more generic movie where you have like the first 10 minutes is showing him being an asshole to her.
Yeah.
It's like her performance too. She's so great because it conveys all that without having to show any of it.
She's obviously terrified, and she's obviously planned this out meticulously, how to escape this guy. And so you're
like, he must be pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah, that first 10 minutes is frightening. It's very like nerve-wracking because you know the fear of her getting caught without having even seen this guy's face.
Right.
It's really well done. And then, yeah, she's got her go bag, her escape bag with all of her stuff in it, and she escapes. And then, yeah, the rest of the movie is, besides for this guy being an abusive, controlling monster, he's a monster. He's a universal monster.
He's a classic universal monster for the modern age.
And he really wants to control her and get back at her for leaving him.
Yeah. Well, and convince everybody else that she's crazy.
Yeah.
If I had one complaint about the movie, it's that there's probably a few too many scenes that say exactly that.
I mean, that's the movie. Yeah. You know, it's not her going like back into the lab and trying to figure out the invisible suit and getting her own and then fighting him with where there's two invisible suits.
The technology of the suit is brushed off as like, oh, it's cameras and mirrors. Like, it really doesn't matter.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing, though.
Sure. But they don't feel the need to over-explain it or make sure that it's realistic, because it really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. The point is she's trying to escape an abusive relationship. But they do have that. So they were working on that technology, where you have a little video thing, and then on your back is a camera, and the camera shoots what is behind you.
Don't try and explain it.
Adrian is dead. He's not dead. He has figured out a way to be invisible.
They don't explain how it makes him super strong. He kind of has like super strength when he's wearing that outfit. He's like picking people up off the ground and holding them up.
It's probably easy
and
to throw
and he's
Elizabeth
extra
Moss
silent.
around.
Somehow he's completely silent.
It's easy to throw Elizabeth Moss around. She's a tiny lady.
Okay, fair enough. These are my only complaints about the movie, because I really liked it overall. I like the execution of a lot of the scenes. It just like hangs on these wide shots. So she's like coming and going from the room, and it's just this flat wide shot, and it gets you like scanning around the entire frame. Like, where is he? What's going to happen?
That shot where he turns up the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good at building the tension.
That's what it did. Build the tension, and then it starts with him trying to start the fire, and then she slaps the daughter. Remember?
Yeah.
And then it's slowly like people not believing her and thinking she's crazy. And, you know, like I'm sure that's happened to a lot of women out there where their husbands or boyfriends are just awful and they try to make them look crazy in front of other people. You know, to the nth degree in this movie.
I love at the end, it's not like, I'm picturing, again, a dumber, like simpler movie where it's like they have the confrontation on the rooftop in the rain. It's like, no. There's no big, exciting action scene at the end. It's them at a dining room table. It's so understated.
Oh,
it's really well done.
Yeah. You got this nice little build-up of all this stuff, and then there's your third act twist. You throw that in there. It's enjoyable to watch her performance in it, because really that's all there is.
You get the wrong person in that role, and the whole movie falls apart. She's really, really good.
Yeah, because she's got that vulnerable quality to her. She's very small in stature. That scene when she musters up the courage to go out and get the mail,
Oh yeah.
And she leaves the house and she's walking, you know, like all timid, and she's got her back is like hunched. It's a great physical performance from her, and then she looks like a fucking wreck in the insane asylum.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's-
no vanity as far as
Yeah.
an actor goes. This is like
Right.
the polar opposite of the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. Where
Yes.
it's like, look at how buff and badass I am.
Yeah. Was that an
then-
Alex Kurtzman production?
It was,
I was
it
just
was.
curious. And this was not.
Believe it or not, this was not an Alex Kurtzman
Okay, I just
production.
wanted to make that clear. Alex Kurtzman had nothing to do with this.
No, he
this
didn't.
film. Okay.
Did Alex Kurtzman, was he involved with Picard?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
That's why that is a well-received program.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
So that's The Invisible Man. It's worth watching. I think it's worth $20.
Absolutely.
You don't own it, you're just renting it, but
I really liked it. It was very classy.
classy,
and,
yeah, that's a good word for it.
And it felt like it was about something bigger.
It didn't feel like a schlocky Blumhouse movie.
No, but it felt like it was about something bigger, something more important, without being hit you over the headish.
Right.
And I'm really surprised that the quote armies of man babies, and you know, like when a movie like this comes out, which is clearly like misandrist.
Yeah.
Is that right? Where it's just like, oh, this movie's just about something.
SJW propaganda.
Yeah. I'm surprised those little trolls didn't come out everywhere.
You make a good movie that isn't hitting you over the head with nonsense, and is actually a quality film that's about something. You know, it makes a difference.
Yeah. It's a great way to remake The Invisible Man
It needs to be about 20%
in a modern era without the schlocky costume. Although there were a couple of nods there that were fun.
Oh yeah, there's a guy that's wrapped in bandages in the
wheeled
hospital.
out. A couple of little nods. And only a $7 million budget, grossed over $100 million.
That's the best part. That budget is under $10 million.
It needs to be about 20%
I
cooler.
hope Elizabeth Moss
It
got
needs to be
some
about 20% cooler.
good contracts on that, got some points on that back end.
All I know is she won't be nominated for an Academy Award.
No.
She should be, but she won't. She'll get, I call it Tony Colletted. The year Tony Collette didn't get nominated for Hereditary, even though it's one of the best performances ever.
Yeah.
Last year it was Lupita Nyong'o. She got passed over for Us. Now this year it's going to be Elizabeth Moss.
Because it's a horror genre. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying,
they don't
Jay?
like those schlocky horror movies,
Yeah.
even when they're not schlock.
Hey, you know what? This next Oscars, there's going to be very few competition. It's going to be Elizabeth Moss versus a troll, right? Best actor. Glorba from Trolls 2, and Elizabeth Moss.
Oh,
That's all we got.
Yeah.
That's all that came out. Everything's been held back. So it'll be like the CGI troll will be sitting in the seat. Everyone will be 4 seats apart.
It'll just be on Zoom. Everyone will be in
Oh, it'll be
everyone will
like-
be in their den.
Yeah, it'll be like one of those like pixelated images.
Yeah.
Like the Truman Show poster, you know, where it's like, and that's how.
So many people.
And
Yeah.
then they'll be like Best Actress nominees, and they'll zoom in, and it'll just be Elizabeth Moss and the troll,
Yeah.
like a little cartoon troll.
The Absurd Tales of Phoenix Crew by C.J. Correos. Episode 2, Escape Velocity, Part 1. Continuing from our previous episode, two of our young heroes, Jack and Sam,
For them. For me. For Equestria.
「 improvement, darling. It's an improvement, darling.
needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's an improvement, darling. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's an improvement, darling. It's an improvement, darling. It's an improvement, darling. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. 20% cooler. It's an improvement, Donnie. It needs to be about 20% cooler. For them. For me. For Equestria. It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Power Ponies Radio.
Okej, wiesz co masz teraz robić, tak?
Prosić o pomoc i odejść, jak będę miał dość. Żartowałem, wprost przeciwnie, kumam.
Myślisz, że da radę? Każdy kucyk przeżywa chwilę, kiedy trudniej trochę ma.
Zły nastrój i frustracja i energia bardzo zła.
Gdy pierwszy już krok wykonasz, z kolejnym łatwo masz. Potem ćwiczyć masz chód i bieg i lot. Gdzieś hen pod niebo aż. Bo tak to właśnie już jest, kiedy zdać chcesz swój test. Musisz wszystko, co masz, z siebie dać. Możesz wygrać o tak, tylko wiary ci brak. Przecież wiemy, na ile cię stać.
Czasem poddać się chcesz, rzucić to. Miejsca nie ma tu już na błąd.
Nie cofaj się, walczyć masz siłę, zbierz. Naprzód płyń, choćby i pod prąd. Bo przecież talent masz, wiemy to. Każdy czasem dni gorsze miewa, wątpliwości spore ma. Lecz wtedy zadziałać trzeba, wyrobisz się raz, dwa.
Nie poddaję się, będę działać. Skupiam się, co za stres. Opanować mam chód i bieg.
I
I nagle wszystko jasne jest. Ja.
nagle wszystko jasne jest.
Nagle wszystko jasne jest. Nagle wszystko jasne jest.
Za každou dokončenou zkoušku až 4 Jamesáci.
Each episode of an ongoing storyline after the first is written by viewers listening in, a different one each time. And given we now have an AI that can literally act as a universal voice actor, we have significantly more resources for making NLP audio dramas than ever before.
Where am I? How'd I get here? Why don't I remember? I think I was in Canterlot. Why can't I remember? Okay, Twilight. So you're on your own in the middle of a big dark scary cave with no clues as to where. Could be worse. Maybe. Okay, stay calm. First things first, can you teleport? Okay, then I'll just have to somehow figure out where I am and find a way out. Shouldn't be too hard, right? It's fine. Perfectly fine. Just like trotting through Ponyville at night. Nothing to worry about.
So, would you be interested in seeing something like that explored? Heck, you can even give it a go yourself if you like. There's a link in the description for that AI. It's surprisingly easy to use, although it does take a bit of practice to get everything to sound right. In addition to this, I was kind of thinking about doing something similar to an episode of Seconds from Disaster or Air Crash Investigation by looking into incidents that have occurred within the show that I feel are worthy of some further investigation. As it is, I have enough material for 2 episodes at most, so it wouldn't be an ongoing series like the ECS series. I have a basic style down and even the makings of a script. Whether it actually goes anywhere, that remains to be seen. Anyways, besides that, as you are probably well aware, I have been attempting to set up my channel to conduct live streams. As it is, I am still getting used to this. I did conduct at least 1 or 2 tests a while ago. Tests that were supposed to be unlisted but ended up saved on YouTube publicly. Oops. In terms of what we do in these, I was thinking either more question and answer type things, or even a live investigation with audience participation. So what do you think? Also, I really need help. I have no idea what I'm doing here. As of right this moment, I, like the rest of the population on planet Earth, am in self-isolation. It's a little difficult to record audio since Dad's now working from home, and I seem to have developed a slight cold. That's about as bad as it's gotten so far, so yeah, we're crossing fingers that it stays that way. Actually, should that be crossing hooves? I don't know. But anyway, in the case of the other pandemic, which I of course mean the YouTube algorithm, in case I do end up losing my channel, I've managed to create an archive channel on PeerTube just in case. It's a bit like YouTube, but with a decentralized system where the users actually create the space for everyone's videos to be hosted. The plus side being that you don't have to rely on a mega corporation that's constantly breathing down your neck. Not that I'm considering the prospect of losing my channel a definite likelihood, but it's always worth preparing for any eventuality. As for all the online pony conventions, unfortunately I've managed to miss every single one. I am hoping to attend Ponies Online, however, mostly because it involves people I know online, so you might see my name pop up on their Discord server. And I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I guess just thank you for sending in your questions and the compliments I tended to dodge in the video. Sorry about that. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
I can't keep away anymore. Your fire is the wave to my shore. Would you call me delusional, somewhat ludicrous, if I told you I believe in us? Let me tell you why. When all the color goes away, you bring it back. And where the earth is tearing up, you seal the cracks. So let the fire light it up, ignite the storm. 'Cause when the ice surrounds my soul, you keep me warm. so numb, no, I can't feel a thing. These shivers mean that someone is missing. I don't always have the time, I don't always know what's on your mind, but your flame makes me feel alive. When all the color goes away, you bring it back. And when the earth is tearing up, you seal the cracks. So let the fire light it up, ignite the storm. 'Cause when the ice surrounds my soul, you keep me warm. So let the fire light it up, ignite the storm. 'Cause when the ice surrounds my soul, you keep me warm. You keep me warm. You keep me warm.
Here you go, I just put on the heads. Now let's see what they sound like on top of the stand. amazing how much these drums have changed the way I play. You know, coming from a guy who's played Tama a lot, but Millennium, their drums are kind of like mediocre and okay, but the Octobands are the true winner. I mean, the resonance and the sound of like a concert tom is just incredible. I have never seen anything like this. If you're going for like a affordable, cheap kind of way, these drums are for you, but it's gonna cost a little more when you get like new heads or even replace some of your attachments and stuff to match the height of what you were playing. Like for me, this is how I play. Like, you know, that kind of, you know, hard attack. That's why I did Emperor clear heads for the sound of the drums. So for these Octobands, the actual drums itself, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because it resembles how much you play with it. Even when the head's coming in, you gotta tune it yourself, but the heads still sound amazing with it, but with the new heads, it just sounds way better. So the drums itself and the entire lathing of the drum and its glass, giving it a 5 out of 5. The accessories that came with it, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. It was very inconvenient that it came with the smallest stands and it was not helping at all. Even trying to change the height was really ridiculous. You might have to spend, if you're like me and you find extra drum parts, like for example this Tama stand or Ludwig stand, you'll be fine. You know, you're gonna have to fish all over eBay, Amazon, and Sweetwater to find that stand to match your Octobands with the height that you want it to be. So that's a 1 out of 5 for the accessories that came with the Octobands. Overall, the Octobands are just incredible. I love playing it. Here are some of the most famous drum sounds that you will find in any song that any musician has played. So here we go.
Little advisory, I'm a huge Dream Theater fan, so most of the songs that I play on the Octobands are from Dream Theater, so keep that in mind. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Soul-crushing depression, crippling loneliness, and terrible debilitating neck pain. It's also just incredibly boring. I mean, here we are, a couple of young people, it's Saturday night, and we're just lying on the couch watching TV in the dark.
We're young people?
Well, we're kinda young, and we're kinda people.
I don't get it. You came in here, you turned the movie on, you turned the lights off, you sat down and you started watching it, and now you're complaining about it?
Because I wish I was doing something else.
Like what?
Oh, you know the kind of things the young people do, goofball. They go to concerts, or they go on road trips, or to music festivals, or go camping, or play guitar as they sit around a bonfire on the beach at night, making memories, falling in love. But I never got to do any of that stuff. You only get to be young once, and I blew it.
You know, I've been to music festivals, and let me tell you, Coachella is not great. 125,000 people all using the same 10 porta potties, the music sucks. Although the mud orgies are usually pretty fun.
You're missing the point, goofball. It doesn't have to be that specifically.
Well, then what are you talking about?
I'm talking about fun, goofball. Surely you've heard of fun. Well, I never get to have fun. You can't tell me there aren't people out there having fun. I know they do it. I've seen it on Instagram. I want to be one of those people. One of the fun havers.
Well, what's fun to you?
Ugh. basically nothing at this point.
Well, I don't know what you want then, and it sounds like you don't know either.
I want new adventures, new experiences. It could be anything, frankly.
Bitch, is that all? If you want new experiences, I can get you new experiences.
I'm not having sex with you, goofball.
Wait here a second. Have you ever done 10 Venezuelan ghost shrooms at once?
I've never done any Venezuelan ghost shrooms at once.
Well, then I would say that this is gonna be one hell of a new experience. My cousin Julio said at most you should take 2. So I figure if we take 10, then shit's gonna get really weird.
Goofball, are you crazy? You can't give somebody a hallucinogenic drug without their permission.
Why not?
Well, for starters, it's incredibly illegal.
It is?
Yes!
Oh no, what are you gonna do? Call the cops and say, come arrest my cartoon ghost?
Goofball, why would you do this to me?
I didn't do it to you, I did it for you. You're welcome. And you know, those were expensive. I was saving them for a special occasion. So I guess we gotta make this the special occasion.
Well, I have to go to the emergency room right now. I have to get my stomach pumped.
Okay, calm down, Princess Nancy. You're not doing that. And it wouldn't even work. They're ghost shrooms. They don't go into your stomach, they absorb into your soul.
What?
Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna sit your ass down, and as absurd as it sounds, you are going to allow yourself to enjoy something. And for once in your life, stop being so neurotic.
Allow myself to enjoy something?
Relax. It's gonna be okay. Just allow yourself to enjoy something.
Allow myself to enjoy something. Allow myself to enjoy something. Whoa. It's like the pattern on the rug is moving. It's like the pattern on the rug is moving. It's like the pattern on the rug. The pattern on the rug, it's moving. It's like the pattern. It's not just in my imagination. The pattern on the rug is clearly moving. The pattern on the rug is moving. The pattern on the rug is clearly moving. The pattern on the rug is moving. Hey, Goofball, have you noticed that it looks like the pattern on the rug is moving?
Well, enjoy the pattern on the rug moving then. Oh, and by the way, guess what?
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 You just made a scary face at me!
No, I didn't.
Well, it looked like you did.
Are you sure you weren't just looking in a mirror? Lighten up, creep. It's a party.
All right. Well, I guess this isn't too bad. Hey, at least we didn't have one of those drug trips where we got sent to another dimension. Goofball, what did you do?
I didn't do anything!
Well, where are we? What's going on?
I think this is the astral plane of ascension.
Well, how long are we gonna be here?
Well, it's the astral plane of ascension, so... I don't know, eternity?
Oh, is that all? And to think I was worried.
Well, look on the bright side, creep. At least you get to spend eternity with your best buddy, Goofball.
Yeah, that sounds like my luck, all right. Let me tell you, Goofball, you just keep finding new ways to take me out of my comfort zone, don't you?
Well, I don't see how any of this is my fault.
You don't see how this is your fault? Are you insane? Are you just completely delusional? Do you have a single iota of logic or reason in your dumb, empty head?
You know, creep, I have a feeling that you and I are destined to do this forever.
No, no, no. Don't say you and I are destined to do this forever, Goofball. Don't say it.
Well, what choice do we have now? We're in the damn astral plane of ascension.
Well, that doesn't mean I have to talk to you. In fact, I'll stay here. You can go over there.
Oh, man.
And I don't want to hear another peep out of you for the rest of eternity.
I'm already lonely.
Ugh.
I miss my big, warm, squishy creep.
I'm not engaging in this conversation. Who
dares to trespass in the realm of the Clockwork Elves? We are the Clockwork Elves, and you are unlawfully encroaching into our domain. The Clockwork Elves? Yes, we toil endlessly behind the scenes of physical existence, forever tending to the intricately balanced inner mechanisms of the multiverse to keep the fabric of reality from falling apart. You're welcome. I believe the words you're looking for are thank you.
Oh, you must be the guys Joe Rogan's always talking about. Is it true you gave him the finger?
Yes, we flipped him the bird. I guess you could say that fear was not a factor for us. Well, you're supposed to tell us the ultimate cosmic truth, right?
Hey, yeah, that's right. You tell us the ultimate cosmic truth, and then when we wake up, we can't remember it for some reason, which makes the story really frustrating to hear for anybody that we tell it to.
You know, we are sick of you Earthlings just waltzing in and demanding the ultimate cosmic truth, as if we aren't always busy, you know, what with keeping the fabric of reality from falling apart and all.
But you guys do know everything, right?
Of course. We are the Clockwork Elves.
All right, what can I ask? Did Bill Cosby really do all that stuff?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, man.
I can't believe you were still holding out hope for Cosby. What kind of a sucker are you?
Well, if Michael Jackson fans can still be in denial about Michael Jackson, then how come I can't be in denial about Bill Cosby? He was my favorite comedian, goofball.
Well, your favorite comedian is a serial rapist, you gullible Nimrod.
You know, goofball, you really are something. Even when we're in the astral plane of ascension and we're about to get the ultimate cosmic truth from the damn Clockwork Elves, you still have to find ways to insult me. Oh, God, it's getting worse.
This place sucks. Well, if you hate it so much, then why don't you leave?
Not until I get the ultimate cosmic truth.
Well, I fail to see how it's any of your business.
Listen, you nerd. Give me the damn ultimate cosmic truth or else I'm gonna kick your ass.
Oh, all right. Come here and I'll whisper it to you.
Of course! It all makes sense now!
What all makes sense?
I don't remember.
Well, that was one heck of a short eternity.
Not short enough, if you ask me. Especially since I don't recall asking for my Saturday night to be hijacked by hallucinogens.
I can't believe you're still belly aching. You said you wanted to have a new experience, and you just met the damn Clockwork Elves. Experiences don't get much newer than that.
I suppose that was a pretty unique adventure, goofball. And I have you to thank for it. I guess living with a cartoon ghost can have its advantages.
Yeah, and hey, guess what?
What? I knew that was you! I knew that you did that!
Oh, fuck you, I'm going to bed. Oh, what an asshole!
Today's auto-generated insult is brought to you by the fine folks at Audible. Audible is the world's leading audio...
habitually fogged up the lenses, but in my defense, we'd waged our wars on heartbreak. I didn't think I'd won mine in the end. I thought that I had been letting go of this, but all the while that was
dance magic. Okay, Nogi.
Half in the bag. Expired pretzels?
Egg. Are you sure it's
pretzels? Ubi cakes?
What the fuck's an ubi keg?
It's like a dry sponge.
Are you sure it's not just a sponge? Oh god.
How are we supposed to survive off this, Jay? Beer can only take us so far.
That hasn't been proven. Hey, how come most of the beer is on your side?
There's some beer right there. Don't you see it?
No, that's a walker.
No, it's behind the walker.
There's a lampshade behind the walker.
Don't think I'm not onto you. I got all the beer, you got all the toilet paper. At some point, this is going to come to an impasse.
Well, things get really desperate. There's alcohol in hand sanitizer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what else am I going to use it for?
Oh, no. Well, did you see Gretel and Hansel?
I did see Gretel and Hansel. I missed it in the theater.
You've been turned out of your home. Set out to fend for yourselves with only your clothes and your hides.
I wanted to see it. I was curious to see it because it's directed by Oz Perkins, star of Quigley.
The star of Quigley.
Yeah.
And what about the really nice move you just made on the briefcase?
When dogs have to go, they go quick. And I hurt my knee, lifting my leg to pee.
Co-star. The real star is, of course, Gary Busey.
Do you have a problem with dogs?
Yes.
But the secondary star is Oz Perkins, who has to stand next to Gary Busey and give the performance of his life, where he acts like Gary Busey is not a crazy person that falls into bushes.
How did you do that?
I hope you have what it takes to solve this problem.
I gotta go.
But you've seen Black Coat's Daughter, right?
Loved it.
That's one of my favorite horror movies.
Another Mad Men connection.
Oh yeah, the John Hamm's daughter.
Yes.
From it is on that. Yeah. So I was looking forward to this movie because of that, and it's a very good movie. It's one of those. He didn't write it. He wrote Black Coat's Daughter. He didn't write this movie, and it's one of those cases of like a probably kind of like average, okay-ish script that is elevated by fantastic filmmaking, because this is one of the most gorgeous-looking movies I've seen in a really long time. It's lots of wide lenses, great cinematography. The witch is played by the Borg Queen.
Alice Krieg?
Alice Krieg, yeah. She's creepy and fantastic in it. But at the end of the day, it's the story of Hansel and Gretel. They do a twist where, because it's called Gretel and Hansel, this is another one where it's like, are the trolls going to come out?
No, that to me was a brilliant idea, because I was going to watch this movie too, and I searched for Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, there's like cheapo ones on
and
Amazon.
55 titles came up.
Yeah.
From the Jeremy Renner crap to Asylum garbage, Redbox trash.
Yeah.
But he was smart to reverse the names
Yeah.
because then it was easier to find.
Yeah, well, and also all of his movies have been kind of female-centric. Like, obviously, Blackcoat's Daughter, all the leads in that are...
I don't think there was ever a Hansel and Gretel was just sort of what it was called. I don't think there was in the fairy tale, a difference between the boy and the girl. They were just siblings, right?
Yeah, if I remember, they're like the same age or around the same
Yeah.
age. They might be twins. I don't know. But this one, she's a little bit older, and it's more focused on her, so it's more like... It's hard not to compare it to The Witch, unfortunately. The Witch is a masterpiece, but it's like period movie focused on a young girl kind of coming of age in the backdrop of being sort of seduced or lured in by a witch.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
So it's not The Witch, unfortunately, but it's like I said, one of the best looking movies I've seen in a really long time. It's got that great kind of like fall atmosphere. It's really atmospheric. The music's great. It's just good enough to make you wish it was better. It's one of those movies.
Like Veronica?
Like Veronica.
Cause of death? Apparent shock and loss of blood. Nice.
I have a feeling it's one of those movies, and maybe I was mildly disappointed just because I love Blackcoat's Daughter so much, and this is, in a way, it's more conventional, but at the same time, the pacing of it is so slow that I can't imagine. I'm picturing like the Blumhouse crowd being like, this shit's boring.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at the IMDb user reviews, it's 1 out of 10 or like 9, 10 out of 10. There's no in between, even though I'm kind of in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually that's a sign of a good movie. Do they do... See, I Hansel and Gretel, I always think of... it was like a TV movie of the week or something. As a kid, I had it taped on a VHS tape. And I'd watch it. And I just remember Hansel was in like a little cage.
Yeah, this has that element of like she keeps feeding them and feeding them. The idea is that they've been sort of disowned by their parents. So there's this kind of theme of abandonment and going out into the world and becoming your own person, which is with Gretel. She's the older sibling. So it's really kind of her coming of age and deciding what kind of person she wants to be, because the witch is sort of luring her in to sort of be her apprentice in a way.
Would you recommend?
I would. I think it's one of those movies that'll kind of grow on me over time, because it's decent. I wish it was better, but this is the type of movie I can see watching a lot in like October. This is a good like Halloween time, fall atmosphere kind of. It's a creepy movie, but it doesn't get by completely on atmosphere. The story kind of like the familiarity with the story, because Hansel and Gretel's been told. It's like making a new Robin Hood movie. They make a new Robin Hood movie every year. And you're like, fuck, another one? So it has a little bit of that quality going on, but the visuals carry it a long way.
Just shake yourself dry.
Pairings. Spicy food and grilled beef. Well, what about ube cakes?
I guess if these are like sponges, they'll come in handy for sanitizing things, right?
Clean some surfaces with them. Is there something about this? Golden sweet corn? This has been open for 6 months. Oh. Oh.
This is like a never-ending hell where every day is the same thing. It's like, kind of reminds me of that movie.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
I was going to insert joke here as the lead into Vivarium, but you say something that sounds like the plot of Vivarium, but then you say a different movie for comedic effect.
Sure, I understand.
That's the joke.
Works, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Yonder, a wonderful development. It has all you'd need and all you'd want.
So we both watched Vivarium.
Yeah. Did you watch it because I told you to watch it? Or
no,
did
I
you
watched
watch
it before that.
Okay, that sounds something else.
No, I just watched this on my own because it sounded great. I loved the premise, and I guess you liked it more than me. I thought it started great, And then it started to get tedious, which is partially by design, I guess, because that's kind of the whole concept of the movie. But it lost me at a certain point. I loved the simplicity of the beginning of it. I love the concept of like hell or purgatory is just an endless suburbia that you can't escape. It's a little on the nose, it's a little obvious, but it works. It's a very Twilight Zone-y kind of premise.
Yes, all those things I agree with you on. The suburbia thing sort of bugged me at first because I thought it was going to go.
I think your microphone's muted. There we go. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, hello.
Hello.
Did your sister tell you that I called? Did Charlotte tell you that I called? I figured she did not. I'm watching you. I can hear myself.